Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for April 6th. So, for those of you who follow my channel regularly, you know that I'm not prone to doing sort of this week, you know, kind of readings. But given the fact that the United States' Surgeon General. You have a lot of generals in that country, honestly. Surgeon General is literally calling this coming week the Pearl Harbor moment because they're saying that some of your hot spots are going to sort of hit peak. I guess later on this week, and I'm guessing early into next week. I thought this might be a really good time to sort of take a look at what we can anticipate in the United States for this coming week, and maybe from today, Monday the 6th, through for another 10 days till the 16th or 17th. See if we can kind of get a handle on what's going to happen, how best to cope with what's going to happen, you can expect. So that's what we're looking at. And as I continue to shuffle the cards, I just want to take a moment to say thank you ever so much for the support to this Soulprint channel. It's lovely, and I'm very appreciative of it. For new subscribers, welcome. For old subscribers, bless your heart. Thank you ever so much for sticking with me and continuing to support this channel, and for many of you, the Soulprint Insights channel. So, and of course, the thumbs up and all of that, the comments. I love your comments. All of them, help to keep my video rotating. So, of course, if you feel that there's value, I just love it when you do things to support this channel. Let's take a look at what is going on in the United States of America starting April 6th. All right, come on down. I have a question. Here we go. So, this week, USA. This week, USA. This week, USA. Okay. So indeed, this is going to be a week of judgment, right? It really is. And it's going to be a week of disappointment and loss. It feels very much as if this week, I mean, honestly, as if you haven't already witnessed this and experienced this and seen it already. But this week, coming week and next, literally next 2 weeks, honestly, you're really going to be able to see how the system isn't working. You're going to see. And I'm not talking about hospitals getting overtaxed because, let's be fair. No hospital anywhere is equipped to all of a sudden having, even 2% of their population needing intensive care kind of medical treatment, okay? Nobody's prepared for that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the systems, the things that are in place and how they really have broken down, how the government has broken down the ability to function cohesively and frankly coherently of things like the Center for Disease Control, of FEMA, of the the really bad blood, if you will, between the states and the presidency. This is going to be a period of time where honestly, you're going to in some ways see exactly how much destruction has been brought to your country by the current government. You're going to see that partnerships that should have been in place, working partnerships between agencies and between governments and administrations, how they have really, really broken apart. And how, as a result of that, there is a great deal of sadness, disappointment, people being left out in the cold, people not having the supplies they need, the materials they need, people being unable to function in a cohesive way because the system has just completely broken down. And because of that, there are going to be some rather harsh judgments on the administrators of these systems. Now, Trump is going to take a lot of it, okay? He really is going to get hammered. But so are governors who did not react as quickly as they should have. Organizations that sort of were allowed or willing to sort of soft sell the problem or the concern or the worry or the anxiety because, they didn't want people panicking and getting stressed. All of that, all the stress, all the anxiety, this, okay, this is where the you-know-what is going to hit the fan, okay? This is where if it wasn't real for some people, it gets real, real fast, all right? And the problem is that they're saying this week, it's not this week. It's going to be this week and next week and maybe, and then by the time it sort of starts slowing down in a couple of weeks in the real hot spots, you're then going to see other places becoming hot spots. And so this is kind of the very beginning of the acceleration. And so this is the time where people are going to be really, really hammering on the government in terms of what the heck they thought they were doing and why they were doing what they were doing. And not only is the president going to take a hit, as is Azair, the health minister, or whatever the heck he is, Pence. Kushner's going to come under fire because he has no business at all in the middle of this. But that's what Trump likes to do. He likes to dump everything on Jared Kushner. So anticipate a difficult week, okay? Anticipate a week of a lot of frightening, scary, and disappointing numbers. A week where hearts are going to break. And there was, I have to tell you, today's reading, which is about this coming, the next sort of almost 14-day period, and the reading that I'm going to be releasing tomorrow about the USA's karma. Okay, both of these topics were topics that were given to me by Spirit. They were like, listen, these are the messages that are really important. You get out there now. And so I'm sorry if this reading kind of feels heavy and depressing, but again, anybody who hangs out on my channel understands that this really is the shoot from the hip place, okay? I'm not, I work very hard at not spreading panic and fear, but I also am not going to sugarcoat things. And as you're going into the beginning of some of the very worst weeks this pandemic is going to throw at you, this is not the time for, it's going to be fine. You need to face what is, if for no other reason than so that you just hunker down wherever you are and you stay put, okay? Because it's going to get really scary. So what they're saying basically is people who got sick 2 weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, they're the ones that you're going to see that illness sort of plateauing and loss of life. So again, you know, it does no good to tell yourself it's fine, because it's not. And it's not only your country, okay? Your country just right now seems to have a significant number of hotspots. And honestly, including a couple that, had the governors listened instead of bowing to Trump, maybe would not be as hot as they are right now. Okay. You are going to get so many mixed messages in the next 7 to 10, 14 days coming out of the White House, because the worse the news gets, the more Trump is going to try to spin it, the more he is going to try to put a good face on it. And like literally with one breath, he's going to say, the number of deaths is horrible, but you know, there's amazing things coming out, and there's drugs that are going to work, and there's this and there's that. He's not capable of sending out a negative or a bad message based in reality and fact without trying to soft sell it, because he is a salesman. And I'm frankly not all convinced he was that great a salesman, but that is his personality. So he is not capable of handing out bad news without trying to desperately find something to offset it. So his stories, his illusions, his inability to actually stay connected to reality, you're going to see that moving forward. You're going to actually, unfortunately, see that accelerating, because he's not able, he's simply not able to just say it factually and clearly without the theatrics. He's, you know, and the thing is, I mean, it is so sad, right? I mean, you look at other leaders of other countries and the decorum and the seriousness, the compassion with which they are dealing with this in their country. And then you look at the insanity of the Trump administration, and in fact the behavior of Trump himself, and you really understand the damage that this kind of a personality has inflicted upon the country. So prepare for more of it, okay? And for God's sakes, if he's telling you that there's this miracle drug, don't try it. If he's telling you it's all going to be better by, I don't know, April 25th, don't believe him. But he is going to be spinning, because that's honestly what he knows how to do. And more, there's going to be a really kind of frightening attitude coming out of the federal government of, well, we need the supply, so you states, you go figure it out yourself. We are not your supply chain. Well, what the heck are you, excuse me, federal government, if you are not part of what supplies the agencies and the states that need help and assistance? Unbelievable, the kind of attitude that has been taken. So there's going to be more talk about supplies and the supply chain. However, it also looks as if there are going to be some very clever strategies that start coming into play. And I don't know that that's coming out of the White House. I actually think it's going to come out between governor to governor, mayor to mayor, that kind of energy. It feels as if there really is sort of a broad understanding of what isn't working, and that they need to, as a government agencies, come up with some new strategies that are going to be able to get what's needed, where it's needed, when it's needed, and then move on to the next place where it's needed. So that sounds energetically, it feels very much like Como's ideas are starting to actually take root a little bit, and you're going to see some of that beginning, because it feels very much like the next 6 to 10 days are really, really going to shed a lot of light on better ways to handle this. It's going to really focus on what isn't working. And when that happens, it gives the opportunity to figure out another strategy, another way to make it work. Okay, so all is not lost. But it's definitely going to be a week of, I would suggest, increased anxiety, worry. Okay. And just as a side note, for those of you who are not familiar with my Soulprint Insights channel, today being released on that channel is a message from Spirit about how to deal with the fear and anxiety that you are feeling and going through as a result of this pandemic and what is going on. So if you're not a regular viewer of that channel, I kind of encourage you to go check out today's offering especially. So, and like, as I'm saying here, right, with that clarity, with that light being really shone on what doesn't work, you're going to figure out ways to make it work. And that's going to actually become a strength going forward, because as this thing continues to roll through your country, it's going to get improved upon over and over and over again, because every state is going to learn lessons, and they're going to pass it on to the next state, basically down the line. And make no mistake, there are going to be some states who are going to be reluctant to implement because they don't want to upset anyone in the White House whose name rhymes with Frump. But lots of them are going to, okay? There's hope. Don't give up hope. Don't lose hope. You're going to get through this. And I'm not sugarcoating this. The loss is going to be devastating. The numbers are going to be like really almost mind-boggling for the next while. But you are being asked to simply do the very, very best you can. You know what to do. You know how to keep yourself safe. Do it. It's as simple as that. And continue to send your energy, your thoughts, your positive energy, your prayers, whatever it is, out to all of those people who are out there fighting the good fight, whether it is janitors or doctors or bus drivers, people in restaurants who are providing takeout food, whatever it is, those people who are not cocooned in their homes, keep your thoughts going to them and their safety. There's going to be a lot of tears this week, people. I'm sad to tell you, but there's going to be a lot of them. The numbers are going to stagger you. The numbers that are the people who are going to test positive and getting sick are going to continue to stagger you, because you have a couple of real hot spots right now. But beyond that, those hot spots are going to continue to move, right? They're just going to roll state by state, kind of through the country. And like I said, the numbers of ill and unfortunately the numbers of dying are going to be heartbreaking. For those of you who are not happy with the Trump presidency, for those of you who are not happy with that administration and the way they are handling the situation, where I'm going to suggest is probably everybody who's on this channel, it is going to be very, very difficult for them to recover from, okay? The judgments that are going to be passed down for their complete inability to be able to manage this, to be able to deal with things fairly and equally and keep everything moving forward in a good way, in a helpful way, is really, really going to be a judgment that they're not going to be able to shake. And any fortunes that they were able to accumulate till now will be lost. Any goodwill, lost. Because the news coming forward is going to continue to be incredibly emotional. And the truth is going to continue to come out. And look, you have the truth here shouldered by the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So you're talking about continual news that is of an emotional nature. And typically these cards would be read in a positive light, but they are not being read that way in this reading. They really are being read about almost like a time of reckoning, a time to actually really, really come to understand kind of what has been going on behind the scenes that we weren't sort of as citizens or U.S. citizens privy to, right? You're going to see more and more of that imbalance of Trump saying really stupid things like, well, of course, it doesn't matter if they are gracious or not, but you think that they should be and they could be, and I really expect it. Like, it's going to be that kind of crazy mixed messages where literally within 10 seconds, he doesn't know what he said 10 seconds before, or worse, he doesn't even understand that he's saying the polar opposite in the same sentence. So that's going to, but more information is going to come out, so buckle up. The work is going to continue. The work is going to continue. People are working hard. People are assessing. People are evaluating. More good news is coming, but a lot of really difficult news is coming in the immediate future. And he is going to continue to play the fool. He just is. He's just going to play the fool. And the GOP, the people who should be sort of trying to rein him in, they're going to be nowhere to be found. They have nothing negative to say about him because, frankly, at this point, honestly, a lot of them are really busy trying to save their own backhands. Because some of them actually have the capacity to be able to look at the situation and go, wait a minute, this really isn't good, okay? A lot of defensive posturing, a lot of, well, I didn't do this, or, I'm not responsible for this, or it's somebody else's problem. So you can expect a lot of that in the coming weeks too. So, my dear Southern neighbors, it's going to be hard, okay? And the reality is that it's going to be hard in the UK. It's going to be hard in France. It's going to be hard in Canada, Australia. There are even countries that did a good job are going to be hit, okay? And it's going to be hard for everybody. And so this is one of the other things I really, really want you to try and keep in mind, okay? As the news gets more frightening and the numbers ramp up in the next, the coming weeks and even months, please be very, very mindful of trying to keep that fear balanced so that you have the ability to be hopeful, optimistic, and to not sink into depression and fear and anxiety, because as you are well aware, like attracts like, and it is just going to explode, that kind of energy that is just simply not helpful. Okay, so I want you really, really to do your level best to stay positive, really in the face of a terrific, terrific challenge. This is going to be, really since the Great Wars, this is going to be one of the biggest challenges as a civilization that we have faced. And it is important to not lose sight of the fact that a little bit of optimism, hope, and positivity goes a long, long way. Okay. Remember to keep in touch with those you love and care about emotionally. Just keep physical distance. Stay safe. For those of you who are literally able to hunker down in your homes and stay put, for as many days going forward as you can, it would make sense that you do that. Take good care of yourself. All is not lost. The situation is not hopeless. This is the storm before the calm. This is the dark before the light. But you are assured that light will come. But it ain't going to come this week. Okay. Stay safe. Take care. Be well. And tune in tomorrow for the reading on the U.S. karma. Bye-bye now.